Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of r/EntitledKarens. In today's episode, Entitled Karen files baseless lawsuit ultimately ends up paying thousands in legal fees. EB calls the towing service on me for parking in front of MY driveway. I can't believe this woman. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. Entitled Karen files baseless lawsuit ultimately ends up paying thousands in legal fees. This story is from a few years ago when I worked in the legal department of a 1000+ store national retailer. As part of my job, I handled customer complaints that elevated when the customer threatened legal action. The cast is very simple. Me equals me. EM equals Karen, who was also an attorney. AE equals our awesome attorney. Our customer service call center forwarded EM's call to me after she threatened legal action. EM left a message claiming that she was not provided $10 in customer reward coupons, spend $200, receive a $10 coupon in the mail sort of thing. This was before apps, based on her purchase of clothing for her son and daughter for back to school. I looked into it and called EM back. It turned out, we had an old address associated with her rewards account. No big deal, right? I spoke with EM and offered to send her the original $10 coupon and an additional $25 for her trouble to the correct address. That did not satisfy EM. She claimed we should have known her address and threatened to sue us if we didn't pay her $1,000 in cash. Her rationale was that it would cost us at least $1,000 to defend the suit. She was in a state in which our company did not have any offices, so we should just pay it to her. I declined, but still forwarded her the $10 coupon she was entitled to pursuant to our rewards program. Sure enough, she sued us for breach of contract, fraud, and any other conceivable charge. I went to my boss, the COO, and told him the story. He asked what I wanted to do. I said I'd rather pay legal fees to a defense attorney than pay EM, and he agreed. I contacted AE, explained the situation to him, and I hit you not, he said, in a southern drawl. I get to sue EM? I should be paying you guys. There are a lot of lawyers in this legal community who would love to sue her as she is reckless, unpleasant, and a total pain in the ass to deal with. I'll gladly take your case. He agreed to defend us at a reduced rate. Part of our defense strategy was to countersue her under the state's frivolous lawsuit statute, which would move the suit from small claims court to the larger civil court. AE filed our answer and counterclaim. Although EM was an attorney, she was not a defense attorney, so she had to engage her own attorney to defend against the counterclaim. After a couple of hearings, she offered to settle for no more money exchanged. She didn't even get the extra $25 coupon I offered her, and the dismissal of both suits. I talked with AE about continuing our claim, but he advised it would probably be worth settling and being done with it rather than being vindictive. Although vindictive would have been fun, courts tend not to like that, so I agreed. My company ended up paying AE $900 in attorney's fees. AE later called and told us that the attorney EM engaged charged her $1,700 to defend the suit. Although I would have liked to continue with our suit, I think her having to pay $1,700 over a $10 coupon sent to the wrong address is sufficient justice. She's gonna make a BS lawsuit, in a state with a frivolous litigation law. Humans are geniuses. Her rationale was that it would cost us at least $1,000 to defend the suit. She was in a state in which our company did not have any offices, so we should just pay it to her. This usually works for issues that will be long and draw out thousands of dollars, like accept my $20,000 offer or pay $30,000 to get the full $50,000 I owe. But $1,000? For a business to never deal with your fraud again? Drop in the ocean. She also made the mistake of setting her ransom equal to the expected loss if they didn't pay it. If the business is going to have to pay $1,000 either way, why the hell would they choose to give it to her instead of a lawyer? She should have set her ransom at something like $100 to $500. It's a lot more likely to get paid if the business saves money by paying it. In my country, she would pay for your lawyer too. That would have most likely been the case if the court made a judgment rather than just dismissing both cases. A lot of US states have that as an option too. It can be a sanction for contempt of court, violation of a frivolous lawsuit statute, or violation of judicial economy statute, or part of a settlement/judgment. This has made me incredibly happy. The settlement should have stipulated that neither she nor any of her family members ever sets foot in one of your stores again, or attempts to order anything online from your company again, with a $10,000 fine for non-compliance. Not any of her family. That plain illegal. Punishing some unrelated people for other people's crime is so 1450, or China. This is so delicious, I spread it in a piece of toasted wheat bread and had it for lunch. She must be a real piece of work for lawyers to salivate at the possibility of going after her. I love this. I've been in 3 lawsuits because I refused to settle just because a Karen threatens. Our insurance sort of hates me, but I think it's worth it to teach people we will not fold. EB calls the towing service on me for parking in front of my driveway. Hi. I've managed to elude EBs so far. But today, of all days, one finally got me. I am currently cleaning out my house and have a container in my driveway for this purpose. Logically, this means that I can't park in my driveway. Anyway, in order not to further limit the already scarce parking possibilities for my neighbors who don't have a driveway, I park in such a way that I stand in front of my driveway and only take up a little parking space. So 3 cars fit wonderfully in this spot. Now, however, Mr. Coincidence had a funny day today and sent me a middle-aged lady, typical Karen haircut, hydrogen blonde, draped in a lot of jewelry, do we already have Christmas, and wearing clothes typical of this group. I have lived here for 30 years and know some people and where they live. So I knew their addresses too. In case of Karen, I only don't know her name. So, I just got out of my car and was on the pavement when the lady literally whistled at me. How could I think of parking in the driveway? That was an impertinence, she said, and she would call a towing service right away. She knows the people who live in this house very well. Fun fact, I live alone in the house, my parents are dead. Actually, I'm someone who clears things up straight away. But here I thought I'd play alone. Anyway, she called the towing service, while I calmly leaned against my car and waited for her to finish the call. When I asked her if she was finished and if I could leave now because I had to go to the toilet very urgently, she just looked at me quizzically, with huge eyes and her chin raised. I took that as a yes, dug my key out of my pocket and went to the house whose driveway I was blocking and whose residence I was now also blocking. Door unlocked, door closed, watching Karen in the mirror. The expression on her face was a real picture for the gods. Instead of waiting for the tow truck to come and sort it out, she just left. So I waited for the towing service, explained everything to the guys, showed them the necessary identification papers, and gave them the lady's address. One of the guys said that the lady had to pay for the service. I guess the bill won't be cheap. I'm thinking of warning the lady so that the shock about the bill won't be so big. But on the other hand, what would you do in this situation? I know the manager property owner. Obviously she didn't. Laughing face. So she would have known me, right? This is the actual fun part. I don't even get why she would claim that, like why would you pick this fight? Oh, she doesn't deserve any warning. She brought this on herself. How did she get a tow company to come out, without giving them her info, to a private home on private property, it's not hers, to remove a vehicle she has no ownership of? Are the tow companies desperate for work? Send 2 tow truck staff out for this with no verification? Honestly, I think if you try warn her, she will just blame it all on you and start an argument, leave her to deal with the considerable of her actions alone. Fun fact, I live alone in the house, my parents are dead. Nice try, Batman. Don't tell her shit. Then beamed the brightest smile at her next chance you get and revel in the glory. She went out of her way for that bill. She made her bed. Seems like it would have been rude of you to even consider trying to prevent her from laying in it. Good on you, OP. If she were a decent person, she would have immediately apologized, having threatened and called a tow truck on her innocent neighbor. She's obviously not a decent person. Where do you live that some random person can call to have any vehicle towed without involving the police? The amount of embellishment thrown in makes this sound fake AF. Still, it's big world W, a lot of Karens, so it's within the realm of possibilities. I can't believe this woman. We purchased our home just over 2 years ago from an old lady who was moving to a retirement village because she couldn't keep up with a big house anymore. Yet she keeps acting as if it's still hers. First, she wanted some of the plants from the garden. We were renovating and the plants she wanted were going to be destroyed anyway, so I let her come and get them. Since then, she keeps asking for shit. Like asking whether she can give our shed to her cleaning lady. The shed was old and nasty, and we had already gotten rid of it. Then a few months ago she came into the garden, picked mangoes. Mangoes that were completely green because we were eating them as they ripened. Today, she wanted to come and pick lemons because she was apparently in the area, but she can't get into the garden because we built a big wall in front recently. I don't want to be nasty about it because she's still friends with the neighbors and I don't want it to affect our good relationship with the neighbors. But how do I tell her that it isn't her house anymore? Eta. Thanks to some nasty comments, I feel I need to clarify something. It's not really about the lemons. I'm on the autism spectrum and having someone invade my safe space is deeply upsetting. Especially because my mother wouldn't allow me any privacy or safe space. Not as a child and not as an adult when I allowed her to live with me when she had nowhere else to go. There's a lot of trauma there. My mother even went as far as ripping pages out of my journal because I was venting about her BS. And this was when I was in my late 20s, so I wasn't even a kid anymore. Ostriches are territorial and aggressive per the TikToks I've seen. You'll want to set up at least 3 cameras beforehand. If she makes friends with the ostrich, landmines. Same about the cameras, plus post a map on the fridge. I confidently went into the first paragraph as if it were an analogy for the old woman herself, referring to her as an aggressively territorial ostrich that kept returning and wouldn't leave the property. I found myself nodding and agreeing before realizing there was actually a second, true, type of ostrich meant for defense. Mary, I know you loved this house for 40 years and I'm sure it's a challenge to let it go after that long. We love this house just as much as you did and we want to make our own memories. We also need to protect ourselves, and with insurance rates the way they are, I'm sure you understand why we can't have you in the garden anymore. I can assure you that we are taking care of it and enjoying it, just like you did for many years. We wish you all the best in your new home. Be nice, but if she continues to ask for things, a firm no is not rude in any way. I wouldn't worry about the neighbors, honestly. I'm sure they wouldn't want the old owners of their property just showing up and acting entitled to things. Also, get cameras. Don't be nice. Be direct and firm. You don't have to be rude, but you don't have to blow air up her skirt. My sister once bought a house with a pool, and the previous homeowner had the gall to assume that she could still bring her kids over to swim during the summer. After a couple of drop-in visits like this, my sister told her that she was welcome to bring her kids to swim, but she needed to call and plan the visit in advance. Then my sister just ignored her calls or was always too busy to have them come over. It worked. I know that you don't want to be rude to this woman, but keep in mind that she is likely doing this because she is lonely and bored. She might be lonely and bored, but she is doing it because she gets away with it. A lot of people don't realize the only reason they're being taken advantage of is because they don't enforce their boundaries. Either you feed the stray cat or you don't. If you do, she will keep coming around. Can I have lemons? Sorry, we have plans for our crop this year. Rinse and repeat. Every time you give her what she wants, she feels entitled to it every single time. Cut her off nicely, but cut her off. Heck, if she can't see the trees behind the wall, tell her you cut the trees down. I guess you'll have to figure out the cost to you of indulging a, possibly senile, old lady. Feel good about yourself by accepting her difficulty in letting go. Maybe draw the line if she comes inside the house. Good luck, mate. It's not your house anymore. Please stop helping yourself to my fruit and please stop asking me for free things. I think, if you take her some mangoes or lemons as a gift when they are ripe, you keep her connected but give her no reason to come to the house. Just a thought. Especially if you want to keep friendly in the area with neighbors. I love this. A friendly stop invading our property, Barbara. Never pay THR Danegeld. Tell her no, and have her arrested if she shows up again to steal your property. Her feelings should be the last thing on your mind. You don't reward trespassing and theft. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and we will see you in the next video.